not know that aliens did 9/11. I had no idea. I only learned it today.
How do you navigate a course through material that encompasses ancient civilizations, extraterrestrials, secret societies, and what is the relationship between those and the governance of our modern world?
I was able to learn about an ancient race that they refer to as the Eldra race.
They are the most evolved extraterrestrial group that has ever been involved with humanity.
They take a genetic approach to help them manage this great experiment.
The CIA declassified a document that describes a cataclysmic series of events.
The main message from these ETs are for us to prepare ourselves.
You know, I had no idea. I thought I knew. I thought I knew about these things. I did not know. The ETs, the aliens, and what they did, I didn't know. They are preparing us for the end of the world. They're, I think, going to cause the end of the world. I don't know if that's supposed to be good. The aliens, these cute little, like, deflated Pillsbury Doughboy white aliens, they're kind of good, but it's also kind of the end of the world. Turns out it's all just hidden right out in the open. That was a movie? Do we call these things a movie? That was a film that was released in 2019, at least 2019 when it was posted online. The same filmmaker also made this the year before. Now, in this, you will recognize some of the same dudes from the other movie, but in this movie, they have different haircuts and they have different purported expertise.
No tire tracks and no footprints.
The Germans had a settlement on the moon, they had a settlement on Mars, and they were doing this as early as 1939.
Between the age of 16 and 17 years old, I was transported to the moon, and after 20 years, I was age regressed back in time and then returned to civilian life.
This money is going into underground military bases and secret space programs with technology far beyond what many of us could even realize.
At some point, this is all going to break open. The more you get involved, the more compromised you become. They may actually kill you.
Did you see the giant skulls? The skulls of giants there at the end? The giants, who were also maybe old, rich Dutch people who got their portraits painted? Yeah, I know, huh? Ever seen those together? And if you put those right next to a turnip, I'll tell you what, turns out that the giants were maybe the ones who did 9/11 and also, I think, shot JFK. It was the giants or it was the aliens that did that. Maybe the giants got killed by the aliens after they shot JFK. Honestly, it's hard to figure out. But I will tell you, as this filmmaker has evolved over time, his aliens have gotten better looking. They've gotten more stylish, at least, kind of cooler. Can we say that his aliens are getting more hip over time as his movies about them evolve? They're certainly svelter in the man's later work, to be sure. I mention this, and I introduce you to this filmmaker's work because for the future of our republic and one of our two major governing parties, it's important to know that that guy, the aliens did 9/11 guy, has a new movie coming out this week. His 2018 movie was Nazis in Space and Aliens Killed JFK. His 2019 movie was Aliens Are Eating Our DNA and Freemasons. Whoa, watch out. And here comes the end of the world, but don't worry. The aliens are very peaceful seeming and they'll be cool with you if you watch these movies. Those were his previous works. Now, his new movie, which comes out this week, is about the Arizona audit. The so-called audit of the Arizona presidential election result, arranged by Republicans in the Arizona state legislature. That is the subject of his next movie, and he appears to be sort of the authorized documentarian of the Arizona audit. I say that because his movie apparently does feature all the people who are doing the audit, all the big players. The opening scene, for example, in the trailer for the film is Ken Bennett the Arizona Republican official who has served all this time as the spokesman for the audit. Now, there he is, talking to the, Nazis on the moon, aliens did 9/11 filmmaker. But while he is, if you look at the background, he's at the site of the Arizona recount audit thing at that arena in Phoenix, talking to the aliens did 9/11 filmmaker about the Arizona recount. The movie also includes lots of footage and testimony from the guy who writes books about treasure hunting and whose big claim to fame was inventing a handheld barcode scanner shaped like a house cat. That's the gentleman who now claims to have secret technology he can't disclose to you, which he calls kinematic artifact detection. It is secret, but it is supposedly being applied to all of Arizona's federal election ballots to prove that Donald Trump must have secretly won. Ask the secret CAT scanner. The movie also includes, apparently, the CEO, who is maybe also the sole employee of Cyber Ninjas. That's the firm, the guy, who's actually running whatever it is the Republicans are doing with the federal election ballots in Arizona. His name is Doug Logan, the CEO of Cyber Ninjas. He was shadowed out visually in the original trailer for the movie, but they used his voice. When local reporters in Arizona recognized his voice and realized that was him, the filmmakers recut the trailer to make Doug Logan's voice digitally altered. Then when everybody laughed at them for doing that, they issued a third version of the trailer, this one with Doug Logan from Cyber Ninjas cut out entirely. But if you think you are ready to learn the truth about the 2020 Arizona election results, and you specifically want to learn that truth from the guy who finally figured out that it must have been aliens who did 9/11, and wow, JFK too, and watch out, they might steal you and take you to the moon for 20 years. If that's the guy you want to learn the truth from about the Arizona presidential election in 2020, he had some big news for you this week. You will not be shocked to learn that he announced this news on a Telegram channel that's for followers of the QAnon conspiracy theory. But that's where he made the announcement. You guys, his new movie is ready. He did the Aliens movie in 2018, did the different Aliens movie in 2019, but now his 2021 movie is ready. It's apparently shot on site at the Republican Arizona election audit in Phoenix. It is premiering at a church in Phoenix this weekend, which I think means it's time to the end of Arizona's so-called audit. This week is when whatever they're doing at that so-called audit is supposed to be wrapped up. And the big culminating event will be the screening of the official documentary about what happened in Arizona and how the Arizona audit will expose the Trump truth of Honestly, the reason we know about any of this is because really good reporters, dogged reporters at the Arizona Mirror and the Arizona Republic and local TV stations in Phoenix and groups like Arizona Right Wing Watch have been documenting this stuff for posterity because you otherwise wouldn't believe it. But a significant portion of the country, a majority of Republican voters across the country, say they believe that Donald Trump actually won re-election, or at least that there was significant fraud and there were many irregularities in the last election. And when majorities of Republican voters tell pollsters that, what they are thinking of is this so-called audit in Arizona, right? Oh, there's a recount there, right? And it sounds like they're turning up stuff that's really, really bad. Well, now, from the guy who brought you the movie on the left about the secret space program, growing aliens deep inside the Earth, we're about to get what I guess is the authorized documentary expose of the Arizona thing, including the support and involvement of the Republican officials and contractors who are running it. And it would be hilarious. It still is kind of hilarious, except for the part where this is the basis for Republicans in huge numbers now saying that the last election was distorted and corrupted by massive fraud, and so nobody can have any faith in the election outcome. And therefore, Republican-controlled legislatures across the country must dramatically restrict voting rights and change the administration of elections so we never have another election like 2020 again. I mean, It will also be the predicate for whatever's going to happen in our country in August, when Arizona says they're going to release their findings after whatever it is the QAnon cyber ninjas people did to the ballots and the voting machines in Arizona. Their report on their so-called audit, they say, will be ready in late July or early August. And August is when Trump says he will be reinstated as president. He expects in August to be reinstated as president. Presumably, he believes on the basis of what Arizona is going to say they found in this thing that they set up in